used to weigh 600 pounds, and I have worked really hard over the last 4.5 years of my life to lose 370 pounds. And in 4 days, I am having an abdominoplasty surgery to remove my hanging apron stomach. You can see it hangs down to my knees. This is what it looks like when I sit down. It makes me look much bigger than I actually am. It's very painful. It's embarrassing and it's shameful. But I try to focus on the fact that I am a weight loss warrior. I have worked really hard to save my own life. And in a few days, this is all going to be gone and my life is going to be forever changed for the better.
Teresa, I am so excited and so happy to have you on the show. Your story has had me in tears watching your transformation and watching you during your recovery. Oh my God, it's been amazing. I am so happy for you. I can't even imagine the changes that have happened in your life. Tell us about it.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. I mean, just in surgery or I mean,
Everything. So I actually made a question card on my Instagram, and what somebody is wondering, or what one of the questions was, how was it for you going through your whole journey? Like, how did you push yourself through?
So I started at 600 pounds. I was told by doctors I was turning 40. I had had 2 mild heart attacks. I had like a variety of obesity related health issues going on. I was on 9 different medications, and they literally told me like you're not going to live to see your 45th birthday if you don't do something about it. And I that really shook me when I heard that from the doctors. But I still left their office and I went and I binge ate, and I continued to binge eat for a while because I think I was really just numb to it all. But what really kicked it off for me was when I met this cardiologist who, when I met her, she didn't attack me or tell me I was fat and I needed to exercise and I needed to change my diet. She literally like looked at me in my eyes and like asked me, what happened to you? What happened in your life to make you do this to yourself? Like, you're killing yourself, you're going to die. And something about the fact that she just reached me as a human being on that level, I just broke down, shared my story with her, and she was like, look, you are carrying around 20 years of grief and trauma, and it's going to kill you. So you need to find a way to let it go. Otherwise, you're not going to make it. And I left her office and I really started focusing on meditation, learning how to meditate properly, manifesting, visualizing, because my mental and emotional headspace was not in a very good place. I talked horribly to myself, about myself. I treated myself horribly. Like, not only did I eat badly, but I literally mentally abused myself on a daily basis. Like, and I know so many people can relate to this, where we just tear ourselves apart on the daily. Like, before I go to bed every night, my ritual was literally to go through my day and break down how awful I did that day, right? And then promise to do better the next day. And it never worked for me. So I really started focusing on trying to learn how to reprogram my thinking and my self-talk. And I started to identify that I had like what I call in my brain, like my inner fat brain or my inner fat bitch. And like, she was like sabotaging me every day because there was always this part of me that wanted to live a happy, healthy life, but I didn't know how. I didn't know how to cope with everything. And I didn't know how to make it into my reality. And living in a 600-pound body is, I mean, we see the shows, My 600-Pound Life and all that. And you're just like, oh my God, my heart goes out to those people. I was one of those people. And it is a very isolating, depressing, very lonely, sad life. It truly is. You feel like a prisoner in your own body. And once I started to identify that there was a part of me that wanted to change, I started to tap into that more and more. And I started to have an inner dialogue with myself where like I came up with this caricature in my mind of like my inner fat bitch. And so like when I would find myself going to binge or not wanting to move my body or anything toxic or unhealthy, I literally would be like, no, wait, you have been running the show for 20 years and you have screwed everything up. Like, I'm done. You need a timeout. Like I literally in the beginning had to do that hundreds of times a day. And the more and more I started putting her in check, the more and more the real me started to feel like a warrior and like I'm a fighter. And like, wait, this bitch does nothing on me. Like I am a fighter. And so I just slowly started to work on the mental and emotional aspects for me. That literally was the first thing. People always want to focus on diet and exercise, which are super important. But when you're 600 pounds, there are some deep rooted issues there. And I, speaking for myself, I had to process those things. And so that started coming first, the mental and emotional aspects of it. And then I slowly started to teach myself how to cook and bake healthier versions of all of my favorite foods because I knew I could never give up pizza or dessert or like all the good things. So I tried to find ways to keep those things. I wanted to make sure that whatever I did was sustainable. I had a life of yo-yo dieting, failures. I was like, I need to take that wagon that we get on and off again and just like light it on fire. Like it's gone. It doesn't exist anymore. And so that's what I started doing. I went from eating 10 to 15,000 calories a day of fast food and junk food, energy drinks over the course of like 8 months, all the way down to about 2,000 calories a day. And dropped 180 pounds. Now, physically, when I first started, I could not stand for more than a minute or two at a time. I could not walk from my house to like my car without completely being out of breath and feeling like I was going to die. I did all of my chores, like household chores, showering, everything I had to do sitting down. Legit could not stand. And I just started practicing standing at my bedside. Okay, I'm going to stand while I fold laundry. Yes. Do I feel like I'm going to die? I totally do. But that inner fat bitch, like she was the one telling me to stop and give up. And me, the warrior inside, was like, no, we're going to keep pushing through no matter how hard this is. Like it gives me goosebumps even talking about it because it genuinely is it's so powerful. And I just started practicing walking laps across my house. And I did that every day. And I would be completely exhausted. I was maybe doing 300 steps a day on a really good day. But after 8 months, I built up to being able to walk an entire block. And it was incredible. I mean, it makes me emotional, but
you're amazing. You're amazing. You are amazing. That's all I have to say. That's all I can say.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. It's been a journey, definitely. And the first few years are the hardest when you are trying to lose a massive amount of weight. Like you have to be consistent. You have to be determined. You have to find the will to get up every single day and keep fighting because it's so much easier to just sit back down and fall into your same mindset and behavior patterns. You literally have to learn how to create lifelong, sustainable, healthy mindset, habit, and all the things. Like I started to really try to visualize, what does healthy Teresa look like? What does she feel like? What does she do? What does she eat? Like, who does she hang out with? What does she read? Like, what does she do in her free time? And that was so empowering for me because then it was like I could go through, like I had like checklists and I'm like, okay, healthy Teresa does not come home and just sit on the couch all day long. She doesn't go to the fridge and then close it and go call fast food, like go get fast food. Like, so I had like this roadmap, not just of diet and exercise, but like everything that I wanted to embody. And I just kept going. Very, very hard. But after the first 8 months, I had lost 180 pounds and met with my doctors and my team. And my doctors felt very strongly that even though I had lost 180 pounds, they were like, we really think that you need to have bariatric surgery. You know, you were 600 pounds. And even though you're in a really good place now, you're still very new into your recovery. And if something were to happen emotionally to trigger you, we're afraid that you might spiral and resort back to old behavior patterns or whatever. So I said, you know what? Okay, let's do the bariatric surgery. Had gastric bypass surgery and then lost another almost 200 pounds after that. But And I say it all the time because there's like this thing in the weight loss community. We did it natural, we did it with weight loss surgery. And I'm like, I am an equal member of both communities. So I feel like I have a unique position to say it's hard either way, weight loss surgery or natural. It is very difficult, but it helped to save my life. It's completely, literally made me stop to think about what I put in my body. Why am I putting this in my body? How much am I serving myself? Like, just so many things. And the weight loss surgery is a great tool. And I always tell people, if you have a massive amount of weight to lose and you're struggling, like, don't hesitate to seek out any method that makes you happy in your journey. But here I am now. It's 4.5 years later, and I've lost now probably about 430 pounds. I am under 200 pounds for the first time since the 6th grade. So, I mean,
Wow.
literally, and I'm 4 years old. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's physically, like, the changes. I mean, going from not being able to fit into my car, like, I literally, my stomach covered the entire passenger seat, covered the gear shift. My brother had to disable the horn because my stomach covered the entire steering wheel. The seat had to be down. Like, just one little thing, like being able to drive. I can walk into grocery stores and stand. I can go, like I did today with my kiddos, to PE, and I stood the entire time. Like, I don't have to, like, when you are 600 pounds, your mind is consumed with, how far do I have to walk? How long do I have to stand? How far is it from point A to point B? Like, is this chair, am I going to get there and there's going to be anywhere to sit? So all of that energy that I spent having to fixate on how to maneuver a 600-pound body, that's all free now. So now I have all that energy to think and feel and do so many amazing things. It's just like the greatest blessing ever.
Teresa, your story is just amazing and so inspiring to so many women out there, men too, who struggle with weight loss. And what you did, I actually talked about it on a previous episode when I was talking about what's holding you back from living your best life. And one of the things that I told my girls that I did was I wrote down who I wanted to be, like what my dream woman is. Who is she? What does she do? What does she like to do? What does she smell like? What does she like to eat?
Yes.
And that's how I figured, okay, that's how I want to be. And that's exactly what you've done. Look at you.
Thank you. Look at you. That's awesome, right? To be able to figure that out, like, that is very powerful, to be able to be self-reflective and to take the time to say, what weight, it's not just what weight do I want to be? Like, what number is the scale? That doesn't matter at all. It's like, what is the life that you want to build for yourself? Because your life is made up of so much more than just a number on the scale. People even ask me now, how much do you weigh? How much do you weigh? And I'm like, I have not weighed. My surgeons said to me, you're going to be filled with fluids. We recommend you don't weigh for months. And even day of surgery going into it, I didn't weigh because I already know I'm a warrior and I've lost over 400 pounds. I'm like, that doesn't matter. I need the freedom of the skin finally being removed from my body. Now, for me, I originally gained all of the weight. What the trigger event for me was, I lost my mom and my brother to suicide when I was in my early 20s. I didn't have the coping skills to handle those losses. And then I wound up having to help raise my younger siblings. So here I was, emotionally just broken in so many ways, not knowing how to cope. So I started to binge eat. I started eating in secret. I isolated away from everybody. And I manifested my stress and my grief in the form of physical weight. And so for me, having the abdominoplasty surgery, which is the surgery that I had 6 weeks ago today, that was more than just having skin removed. That for me was the last little remnants of the grief and trauma that I carried around for 20 years of my life that was literally killing me. And for me, every pound that I lost, I associated it with a negative feeling. So every time I would see the pounds go down, I'm like, this is the time where you were walking and someone threw food on you. This is the time when somebody called you a horrible name. This is the time when your boyfriend in high school told you you're fat, so I don't want to be with you. Like I literally would go like and do like little tick marks, like this pound is for this. And like, so I mentally was trying to shed every little poison toxic thing that I absorbed throughout my life that we all do, right? I mean, we do. The fact that I remember back to my high school like love telling me that he couldn't be with me because I was fat, even though I was already big when we got together, like I internalized that. And so for me, I'm like, I needed to go all the way back and I needed to just release. And that's where like the meditation and the visualization started to come in, because at 600 pounds, it is almost impossible to move your body. And so for me, it was so painful physically and emotionally and mentally that I had to learn how to project my mind into the place that we speak of, the embodiment of who I wanted to be in the future. Because being present in the moment and trying to move your body at 600 pounds out in a public environment where you already know everyone is staring at you, they're saying things about you, like they're judging you. I couldn't handle all of that. So I had to go into my mind and tell myself that I was already this badass warrior goddess who was healthy and happy and doing all the things, even though I was struggling every single step. Nobody else knew that on the outside. Like I was telling myself that it was the only way I could get through it, you know? And I found it so empowering to pull yourself out of like your misery in that moment and put something positive there. It literally made all the difference in the world for me, especially when I first started out my journey. But actually I still do it. I still do it to this day, trying to get through recovering from plastic surgery. I project my mind into a happier, healthier body where I'm all healed and everything is all good, you know?
Tell us about your surgery journey.
Oh my goodness. So I tried for 2 years. I have all the documentation through my medical insurance, my doctors, like this surgery is medically necessary. This patient has lost 370 pounds. She has a very large hanging apron that I got. I mean, I'm talking blood, raw rashes, horrible rashes that were debilitating. The stomach also caused me to have mild scoliosis. So my spine is curved. It made me have neuropathy in my entire right side of my body. Like I could not feel anything. And we had all the documentation and I was denied multiple times. And I started sharing my story on TikTok about the time when my boyfriend died in April. And for me, that was like this big test of like, okay, are you going to spiral or are you going to like embrace this new life? And I chose to embrace it and started sharing openly, which was really hard for me to do. But I started sharing about it. And then a few months ago, I decided, and I don't know what possessed me to do it, but I decided to show everybody my stomach. And legit, I'm telling you, not even my sister, who's my best friend in the world, would I ever show like my stomach to. I didn't show it to anybody. And I showed my stomach on TikTok. And I just got like this tsunami of love and support from people. And somebody tagged my surgeon, Dr. Charlie Chen, who is freaking incredible. They tagged their office and was like, hey, have you guys seen this girl's story? Like, just check it out. And so then they reached out to me and they were like, oh my God, you're incredible. Like, can we talk? And I had spoken to a few other surgeons previously. And I'm a person who's very big on someone's energy, your intention, and do we resonate with one another? And within 5 minutes of meeting him, I looked at my sister and I was like, that's the surgeon. He's going to change my life. And everything just lined up. They literally called me to tell me that they could do the surgery on the anniversary of my brother's passing, which was the trigger event for me gaining all of the weight. Like, how like the synchronicities were just, my whole family was like, are you kidding me? Like
That's
that day
crazy.
of all days, it was like a gift from up above or whoever, whatever synchronicities put it together, where it was like literally the day that changed my life and led me to gaining all of that weight is the day where I found out that I was going to finally be free. How often does that happen? Like that is crazy. I was blown away, but they were just like, he saw the stomach and he was like, I can take that off. And told me, yeah, okay, let's talk and then we'll talk again. I kept telling my sister, I'm too fat. They're going to see it and they're not going to be able to remove it. I did not like, even though I'm all about being positive and everything, I was like, the reality of it did not even sync up for me. And I kept telling my sister, because we had the surgeon I had met virtually. And I was like, no, when he sees me in person, he's going to be like, no, that's too big. I don't want to mess with that belly. And he didn't do that. They were absolutely incredible, him and his entire team, and walked me through every single aspect of the surgery. But I started, when I found out that I was going to have the surgery, I started, because I had started manifesting this years ago, where I wrote in my journal every day, I had skin removal surgery. I am happy. I am healthy. I am good. I am this size now, like every single day. And I couldn't believe it was finally happening. I'm like, oh my God. So then I started transitioning my thinking process to, okay, when I was walking, for example, at the marina, I walk every day. What is it going to feel like to be walking without this skin? And so I would stand there and I would meditate and I would walk and I would visualize, what is it going to feel like? What does that mean for me? I started visualizing what it was going to be like on the operating table. So I wanted to prepare myself mentally, physically, and spiritually, because I know that for me, this journey was so much more than just getting the skin cut off. So I really just threw myself into this entire process and did a lot of research, spoke all the time with him, with my surgeon and his staff, did a lot of journaling, a lot of meditation, a lot of self-reflection, and kind of pulled back a lot because I really felt like I needed to prepare myself for this. And I'm so glad that I did. It is not an easy thing to go through, this surgery. Like I said, I'm 6 weeks post-op today, and they what I had done was the abdominoplasty, the floor delete, and they did liposuction on my abdomen and my flanks. My surgeon, I live in Long Beach, California. My surgeon's about a 2-hour drive away in San Diego, California. And I'm fortunate enough to be blessed with a family of nurses, and they accompanied me. And I got to meet them in person day of surgery. I had not met them until day of surgery. And they were all so lovely and kind, and I felt so prepared. Like, they literally talked to me about I talked to every member of the team. Like, I literally got phone calls from everybody, which totally floored me. I was like, wow, they actually like literally care, and they want me to be prepared for this. But I had to go through, get the testing done, get the EKG, get the clearance and all that, and everything was all good. However, we knew going into this that I was a little bit of an elevated risk because I had pre-existing comorbidities. I had heart disease. I had the mild heart attacks. And I also had an issue with elevated red blood cell count. So from having weighed 600 pounds, I had those issues. And we discussed all of them. And my surgeon felt confident that he could take the skin off, which I still did not. I'm not even kidding you. Driving to the facility, I was telling my sister, he's going to turn me away. He's going to turn me away.
Couldn't
He's
believe
going to
it.
turn me away. Right. I was like, no, it's not going to happen. And then like, so once we got there and he started marking me up and wasn't like turning me away, I was like, oh my God, this is actually happening. Like, I can't believe this is actually going to happen. And I was not afraid. I had zero fear. I literally every day kept telling myself, faith over fear. Your journey has led you to this point. All of this is happening for a reason. So I'm just going to have faith. And I did. I was smiling, super happy. Like, they did all the markings and they were so wonderful. My family was there, and I woke up and just when I realized it was gone and they told me that they had removed 47 pounds, I didn't even realize it, because the surgical tech told me when I tried to get up, I tried to move the belly out of the way. And then they had to tell me, no, honey, it's gone. It's gone. And I was like in total disbelief. Like, I just couldn't believe that it was gone. Just the most beautiful, powerful, honestly, one of the most powerful days of my life. Every single one of those people, just even the guy who just took me off the table, he's like, I'll take you for your first dance, just to turn me around. Like the compassion and the kindness that these people showed me, it meant everything to me. And they honored what meant so much to me was that the surgical team and the surgeon himself honored the spiritual aspect for me and the emotional issue that was for me. It wasn't just about the skin. It was like, hey, you guys are literally taking off the last little remnants of all of this pain that I carried around, and all this things that I inflicted upon myself for so many years. And I think that they all really felt it too. You could feel it in the entire place. Like they knew what was happening and how powerful it
Wow.
was for me. And it's absolutely incredible, really.
Teresa, I don't think I've ever cried so much in an interview because
Oh,
your story is just so amazing and so inspirational. And it's you manifest, you're a manifestation of everything good that you wanted in your life.
I honestly, I don't feel amazing. I don't feel any, and I'm so grateful when people tell me that, but I'm like, it's so important for me for people to know I am a regular person. I struggle. I still struggle. I have had so many ups and downs in my life, but if you can, I saw the thing by Brendan Fraser the other day. The movie The Whale has just come out, and he was talking about if you can just find the will to get up and go toward the light. And that's literally what I've been trying to tell people throughout my journey. I felt for 20 years that my light had been just tucked out. It just went out. And I felt like an empty shell. And I needed to just have a little bit of that light to hold on to and to move toward. And the more that I focused on that light, and it had to come through me healing, but the more that I focused on that, the more I started blowing myself away with what I could accomplish. And there's just so much power into believing in yourself and believing even more that you can do the hard things, that you can do everything your fat bitch is telling you can't do. Like, no, you actually can do that. Like for me, she was the recipient of every negative thing anyone ever told me, every way that society makes you feel about being fat or being a woman who is fat, like all the things. She was the recipient of all of that, and then it was like she was taking it out on me, you know what I mean? Like she was taking it out on me, and then I just decided to like flip the script and be like, no, no more. And it's just life changing. And I just want people, and I appreciate that people find my story inspiring, and that they think that I'm amazing, but I'm also very much a person who was broken. And I want people to know that you can do it. You can totally mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually transform your life if you really genuinely believe it. You have to embody it, which you already know. You have
You
to
have
have
to
that vision
embody
in your
it.
mind. Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you create that woman in your mind, I tell my girls, create that woman who your dream girl, your best
Yes.
version. You did it. You did it. So I love your honesty on everything that you've posted on Instagram and on TikTok. I love your transparency.
My boyfriend of 22 years, he was the only man I'd been with my entire adult life. He is the one who was my biggest cheerleader. He would literally cry every single day and tell me, baby, you have this light in you. You have all of these things. You need to share your story. And he is the one who taught me all about manifesting, visualization, reprogramming my mind. Like he gave me all of the tools, and he would tell me, because we knew he was sick, he had cancer, and he would tell me, baby, when I go, you are going to be able to help other people and teach them these things so you can help save other lives. And I would tell him, oh babe, like you think way too much of me. But when he died, all of a sudden I just literally was like, okay, I need to do this for him. And I started with the TikTok and like really hitting it hard and sharing, like you said, being super vulnerable and totally transparent. And a whole other element that I feel like I couldn't do totally on Instagram, I was able to bring that to TikTok. And I feel that through me and through my journey, he gets to live on. And that will be the things that he taught me will be able to help other people. And they already are. I get messages, thousands every day from women telling me the journaling, the manifesting, the inner fat bitch, all the things you're telling me. And those are all things that I never would have known without him. And just the synchronicities and everything took off after he died. And you would think after losing the love of my life that I would have gone into a really dark place, but I didn't. It was like he always called me his like golden unicorn. And it was like all of a sudden I just kind of started to literally try to embody, and I started to focus on shining my light as bright as I could so that he could see it from wherever he was and so that everybody else could
Girl,
see it too.
you got me. This, wow.
Very powerful. You know, if you don't believe in the power of love or spirituality or anything, like maybe my story won't resonate with you, but if it doesn't anyway, you know, it's, you can see how powerful and how true it is. And what I say to you guys is the absolute truth. There have been so many things that have happened to bring me to this point, to bring me to your show so that we can help inspire other people, you know?
And we'll let's hold hands and do as much as we can and help as many women as we can and change as many lives as we can.
Yeah,
Let's do
uplift
it.
one another. Uplift
Yeah,
one, right? Uplift
absolutely.
one another. That's what we're here for. Absolutely. Oh,
Absolutely.
thank
That was
you.
that was so beautiful, Teresa. God.
Oh,
I I think because for my journey, I had to do exactly what you did. For me, it was my trigger was going through a divorce and like
yeah.
having to change my life and rearrange who I was. I was married for 15 years, like my whole 20s. So I was like, who am I now in my
Yeah,
30s?
that's
Who
like a
am I
death.
don't even know.
It's a death, really. It's a passing of that time of your life. And it's those transition times that are so challenging for people when we lose somebody, when you have a divorce, when you lose a job, when you have to move from a home. It's those moments of transition where people tend to either go one way or the other. And if you can just tap into your inner strength, that warrior goddess that we all have within, you can literally blow yourself away. You can just be amazed by what you can accomplish, you know, with believing in yourself. It's just, and I hate to make it sound so simple because it's really not. It's very layered, but having the faith in yourself that we always have in everybody else. We always lift everybody else up. I'm always complimenting everyone and cheering everyone on while I was tearing myself down. No, no, we don't do that anymore. We don't subscribe to that. No,
We
we don't
don't
subscribe.
subscribe.
No.
I love it. I love your personality. I love your energy.
Thank
It's
you. Thank you so much.
contagious.
Oh,
Contagious.
thank you. Thank you, Mavi. You're so sweet. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you having me on. You're incredible. And I love what you are doing.
Thank you so much. My mission's just like yours to help as many women as I can feel this feeling that I have of
I love it.
happiness, of fulfillment, of excitement just to wake up and do this, do what I
And
do.
you're doing it. And you're a mom, you're a regular person, you got your kiddos, and here
Yeah,
you are taking time out of your day when you're probably tired too. And you are taking time because we know that by sharing our journey, by sharing our struggles and our successes, we can help other people. And that's what it's all about.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh,
You are gold.
you are too. Thank you.